And we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mac to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you get started on your fitness journey. What is up, everybody? Hope y'all are having a great day so far. We have got a special guest, a little interview for the podcast today, and we have a international fitness model and personal trainer. Her name is Kerstin Schulze, and we're going to bring her on to the screen now. Okay, and there she is. So, welcome to the podcast. I'm glad to have you on. Thanks for joining today. I'm looking
Thanks
forward
for having me.
to learning more about you and what you have to offer and just general fitness stuff. I always love to chat with different fitness professionals because this is what I enjoy to do. Is kind of my hobby. So I'm glad to have you on. So go ahead and just introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Oh boy, that's a big order right there. Hi, everybody. I'm Kerstin Schulze. I'm a personal trainer, health coach, actress on a hit show, and I'm also what else? A mother of two. I used to compete in figure competitions. I was once the tallest national competitor in the United States. What else? I've been in many, many magazines internationally. When you could buy magazines still at the stands, and you would go look at and see, oh my God, I'm in it. So now everything is online, and everybody's a model now.
You said you were the tallest fitness competitor. How tall are you?
I'm I'm 6.5 now. I used to be 6'1", and when you
Okay.
have heels on, I was 6'5". The
Oh wow.
average fitness competitor is about 5'7".
Wow, I didn't realize you were that tall. You're way taller than me. I'm only 5'9", so you got me beat. I'm a little jealous there. So I want to go back to kind of how you started and how you got into fitness. I see right here where it says you at just 12 years old you're a silver medalist in a heptathlon. I'm not
Mhm.
sure what exactly is a heptathlon. I'm not familiar with that.
It's 7 different disciplines. So you do 200-meter sprints, 400, high jump, far jump, shot put, relay. I feel like I'm forgetting something. And yeah, I was good in all of them, except for
I
Claudia. She
see. I
beat me
see.
by 1 point.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you definitely have an athletic background. I'm the same way. I grew up playing sports. I didn't do track like you did, but I played baseball, basketball, football growing up. So I have a kind of come up the same way as a child, and then that quickly relayed into fitness as I got older. So
It's always a segue, right? When you played sports for me too, yeah. And I
yeah,
actually got into bodybuilding because one of my knees, my left knee, was bothering me. I went to the doctor. They wanted to do surgery on me, and I was 18 at the time. And at the time, I wanted to become a physical therapist. So I did an internship with a physical therapist, and she told me just to do some bodybuilding. And at the time, there were not really a lot of girls in the gym. It was just
mhm.
guys, and the girls were in the aerobics room. And I fell in love with it. Never had to have surgery on my knee, and that's how I really that was my segue into fitness.
I wonder why she told you to do body. Is that just to take some of that pressure off of your knee?
hmm So when
Yeah.
you run sprints, a lot of impact, running in
Hmm.
general, but it's just the isolated muscle building of it, the quads, the hamstrings, because when you do sports, you really don't focus on building your hamstrings. It's the most undertrained muscle in the human body.
Hmm.
And when you go into the gym, you really focus on building those up, and it really helps a lot with the problems that I had. So I don't even think it was the knee that was a problem. It was the way I ran or the way I positioned my weight. So when I did bodybuilding and you do isolated or single exercises for each side, you balance it out more.
Yeah, that makes sense now that you say it that way. You build up all those muscles around it to kind of
hmm
help build it up stronger. That makes sense. Yes, I actually did my first bodybuilding show last year. So I'm very interested in like the bodybuilding scene right now. I've been into it a lot lately. I've worked out for about 11 and a half, 12 years now. Ever since I was in high school, I've loved it. But I never wanted to do bodybuilding until last year. I decided, hey, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do it. I'm still young, so I'm gonna try it. And I I underestimated it. It was very hard. I don't know if bodybuilding's for me in the future. I really don't, but I enjoyed it. I'm glad I did it. It was a cool experience. It was
hmm
definitely tough, and it made me have a lot more respect for bodybuilders. Like now, I have so much respect for bodybuilders because I know they are grinding day in and day out because it
Oh
was
yeah.
not it was not easy.
Takes a lot of discipline to be a bodybuilder. I always tell people when they were seeing me when I competed, and they would tell me, "Oh, I don't want to get," when they would started training with me, "I don't want to get as big as you, or I don't want to,
Hmm.
be as ripped as you." I said, "Honey, it's going to take a long time. If you can do a bodybuilding diet for 2 weeks, then you maybe have a chance at it because it's a lot of focus and discipline. It's counting, it's weighing, I train twice a day." And meantime, I had 23 clients a day and two children, and still had to show up for myself. There was no partying, there was no going out, there was no eating at restaurants. There was just going home, going to sleep, going to train, do it all over again.
Yeah, it eventually got to the point to where you don't even want to go out and do those things. Like you feel so bad, have no energy. You literally just want to go home and sit on the couch. Like that's what you want to do for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
That's
you
how
just
I
want to
got at
relax.
least.
Yeah.
Another thing you said is people don't want to get as big as you. Well, I think that's a very big misconception because it takes a long time to get as big as a bodybuilder. I've been working out for, like I said, 11 years, and I'm still nowhere near as big as some of these bodybuilders out here. And I train, in my opinion, I train hard. I train consistently, and it's not easy. Like if it was easy, everybody would be big. But I don't know why people think, oh, if I'm start working out, I'm gonna get bulky. And it's mainly women because women don't want to be big and bulky for the most part.
I
But
think it goes back to, when Linda Hamilton came out in Terminator, and she had these guns. Before then, women weren't supposed to have muscle, or weren't, if you looked softer and you were more voluptuous, that's the key, to looking feminine. So when you have a girl that looks to had muscles, I think people thought she was butch. I mean, people have asked me if I was a man, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I had muscles, and it was came from women. It didn't come from men.
mhm.
So, or very insecure men that, could not put on muscle or wouldn't have the discipline, And I think it's a mechanism of excusing why somebody can look different. And yeah, I think it's your superpowers when you have muscles, longevity and everything.
Yeah, a lot of people tend to say having a good, healthy, like strong body with muscles is the only thing in life that you cannot buy. You can pretty much buy anything in the world except having a nice, fit, like healthy body. That's the one thing you can't fake. So it says a lot when somebody takes care of their body and you can tell they're in shape. They take care of themselves. They work out. And they do all the right things because they've put in the hard work, the time, the effort into it. Because you can't buy that. You can't buy a healthy body, fitness like muscles and stuff. So
Yeah, I agree.
I take
Hmm.
pride in that in myself, and also when I see other people I know, like, hey, that's a well disciplined person, well trained. I know they got motivation. It's probably like I think of it as like a boss. Like if I'm gonna hire somebody, I want to hire somebody that's fit because I know they can put in the work and they're disciplined to do it. That's something that I take a lot of pride in myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going back to what you said, it takes so long to put it on. It's a
Hmm.
lifestyle. I've been doing this since I was 18. I didn't get on stage until I was 29. And I used to do a little, I never wanted to be a model, first of all. It was kind of found me. I wanted to be a dancer and a professional dancer, like choreographer for Janet Jackson. That was like my dream, besides being an actress. And then yeah, I was asked to model, and I wasn't a big fan of the runway. I did some runway modeling and some print, but I wasn't I loved the stage. I just didn't like. I like to eat. I like to feel healthy. I like a good meal. I didn't like to starve myself and to be a size zero to fit in it. It was just not genetically. I was very built athletic anyway, so I always had to force myself to be smaller than what my body wanted to be, which meant
Hmm.
like calorie deficiency constantly, or pulling water or whatever. So when I started bodybuilding, it just was like heaven to me. The power of it, that I can eat 4 to 5 times a day, and these are good meals. It's not like people always think eating healthy is so untasteful. It tastes really good. It's just we are so used to this whole processed stuff that our taste buds have been manipulated to think what is healthy.
Yeah, it's funny you say that the food tastes good because when I was doing my prep, my wife would like she would always say, I don't know how you eat that. Like how you still eating that every day in and out. And then Well, what happened was after my show, I kept eating the same meals. Like I still meal prep the same meals I was eating on prep. Obviously, I'm eating more now. I'm not eating that little of food. I'm eating more of it, but I still eat like the same exact things I was eating on my prep. And she was
Mhm.
like, "I don't. Why do you do that? Like, why are you still doing that? Why are you still eating that? I don't get it." I'm like, "Because it's actually good. Like, I like this food. It's not bad. People think like chicken and rice taste bad, but if you cook it right, put some seasoning in it, and that's not all. You don't have to just eat chicken and rice. There's other things
And
too.
isn't it that when you after a while, when you go out to eat in a restaurant, the food tastes really salty? Like
Your taste
because
buds
we
definitely change.
yeah, I didn't cook it with a lot of salt, and you can taste how much is actually in the meals that you normally would not put in there when you go out to eat and you're a competitor because you're so strict and you really train your taste buds to eat healthy, and eating out was like, to me, I was like, one day I was like, wow, this is too salty for me to eat.
See, I like salty stuff, so that's where I differ from you there. It's weird though because before my prep, I didn't necessarily like salty stuff, but then after I started adding salt and stuff to make my food taste better, I kind of started liking it even more. So
Oh,
now
okay.
I use some more. So I guess my taste buds changed a little in the opposite of what you did.
Yeah.
So I see that you so you're online. I'm assuming you do all your coaching online. Is that correct? Or you do in person?
No, I have a location too, but
Okay.
a lot of my stuff is online. I train people in Paris, in Germany, in New York, LA. I get people right in front of the camera, like Robert Patrick Jr. for Gangster Squad, Nicole Ari Parker for Broadway. I have helped Mr. Thor when he first booked the role. He came to us, Hemsworth, and I helped him with his nutrition. And but I also help a lot of CEOs, and I train people online, but I do have a gym location in LA as well, and people can come to me. But I just wanted to make it more affordable with programs, so I have a whole program you can sign up for, and all the programs that I do with my clients is available there, and it's detailed explained of how to use the exercise. And I have a whole gym program, and I have a fitness for the busy lifestyle for people that don't want to go to the gym or traveling a lot, or have kids, have a lot of obligations, and just are too busy or intimidated going to the gym, or just don't like the gym. Some people that just say, I have clients that said, I don't like gyms, and some people love it. I love both. I love working out at home outdoors, and I love going to the gym. So I have a whole variety there, as well as my track workouts. And then you can also do one-on-ones with me, which are um, online and in person.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like both home gyms and or working out at home and in the gym. So I actually have like pretty much a full gym in my garage, and I actually I like to work out in the gym, like the commercial gym. So I go there most of the time, and my wife's the complete opposite. She does not like a commercial gym at all. So she works out at home in the garage. So sometimes I'll work out at home, but I prefer to do it in the commercial gym. But I do
Did
like
you
having the
guys
option.
meet in the gym, or did you meet out and about?
We actually met in school in high school. So
Okay.
we've been together for a
Wow. High
long.
school
Yeah.
sweethearts. I love it.
Yeah, we've been together for a long time. So
That's awesome.
yeah, we
Yeah.
grew up right down the street from each other. So
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, I listened to your podcast, and you had some really good pointers about when people think that they have to have all this equipment, or they have to go to the gym to get in shape, and it's not. I I have a book, and in a book, I also talk about take 5 minutes. If you change, because it's all a program, right? We have to reprogram our day. Everything is a routine. Even people that say they don't like routines, you have a routine. Everybody has a
mhm.
routine. The routine you wake up, the routine you brush your teeth, when you have your coffee, when you go to bed. It's all a routine. So in order to change your routine, it takes baby steps. And I always say, just start with 5 minutes. Wake up 5 or 10 minutes earlier, set your alarm and exercise for 5 minutes. And set your timer, sorry, for 5 minutes. And after the 5 minutes are done, you have to stop. You cannot continue. And you do that for 2 weeks, your body will crave it. And then now you
Mhm.
have implemented a new routine that's not overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, I'm losing an hour of sleep in the morning. Just try 5 minutes and see how that feels. And you'll be amazed of, in my 20s, I used to rush, 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 and I would give myself 10 minutes in the morning. And now I love waking up an hour before I have to do anything else.
Yeah, I'm definitely a routine person. I like my morning routine. I'm very strict about it because I've created that habit of doing it so long. So it just feels natural to me. And so I'm a morning. I work out in the morning too. So I like that's part of my morning routine. So I really enjoy it. And
And I
yeah,
think
it's
people underestimate it.
I sacrifice my sleep in order to do it. I know it's probably not the best thing to do, but I it helps me to be able to do my routine and stick to that and be consistent with it rather than getting a little extra sleep. I would sacrifice that. I know it's probably not the best thing to recommend to people, but if
Do you
I
nap during the day?
do I nap? Sometimes, not always. Sometimes I will,
Yeah.
but
I think naps are really good. I mean, men need 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Women need 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night, right? And then you should nap or meditate during the day. I think it's really important, especially after a workout, if you can. I mean, not everybody has that privilege, and I understand, but the body loves a routine, and because it learns, okay, this is when I wake up, this is when I release these hormones, when I eat, this is what the body actually works with you in your favor. When you keep a routine and you wake up at the same time, you eat at the same time, you eat around the same nutrition, your body learns when it gets it and knows how to maneuver in it. And I think it's really really important for it, and it will be super beneficial for you to have a routine. When people are all over the place, they usually have high cortisol levels, they have aches and pains, and I don't think it works in their favor.
yeah, that was one thing I had to change with my circadian rhythm. Is I get up really early in the morning during the week time, but on the weekend I would always sleep in. But something I've changed lately is I get up at the same time every day now. Even on the weekends, I get up early because I know it'll be more beneficial for me to wake up and go to sleep at the same time every day rather than trying to get a few extra hours of sleep on the weekends. That's one thing I have changed a lot recently. I'm always getting up at the same time, so I think it has helped. It keeps my body in that, like you said, in that same rhythm, same routine. So I'm not like I don't get thrown off. I'm not tired later in the day, things like that.
Hmm.
So let's. Oh, one thing I was going to ask you. I see your website is called partyanddiet.com. I
Hmm.
I want to dive into that. So what is the idea? What is the philosophy behind party and diet? Where did that come from?
Party and diet happened because I believe that I still want to have a social life. And even though I love to work out and I love to be fit and I love, all of that, I still want to have a social lifestyle. And social life settings usually means you'll eat out in restaurants, you might have a drink, or you do something that's not normal on your diet, basically you let loose a little bit. And how do you find the balance in that? Because I believe in balance. And when you go on the weekends, you just want to let loose, but then on Monday you got to be dialed back in, and that's where that comes from, party and diet.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Most people will think like if you're gonna do fitness, you got to be 100% strict all the time. It's just not the case. I follow in that 80-20 rule. As long as you're consistent 80% of the time and you kind of slack a little bit those other 20, I feel like over time you can make good progress as long as you're sticking to it. Most people they'll take the going out on the weekend a little too far and then let that roll over to Monday and then they're not doing their fitness on Monday and then it kind of just starts trickle down effect. So as long as you can do it within moderation and get back right back to it when the week comes back around, I think it's okay.
And it's called the rotation diet. It's the oldest diet in the book. I have a book from way back. Now they call it the metabolic confusion diet. They call it the keto diet. They call all kinds of things, but it's all the same thing. What it means is that you're just tricking your body in. You go in lower carbs. You're doing a cycle: low carbs, high carbs, low carbs. So the weekend will be my high carb. I always make weekends my high carb, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I go super low. And but you have to, like you said, you have to, when you fall off the wagon, I call it, you got to get back on it. So it's not how hard you fall off, it's how fast you get back on it.
So do you have any tips or strategies for those people that do like to have those social outings on the weekend? They do like to overeat on the holidays. I know holidays is a big one too, where people like to kind of indulge in the food and sweets. So is anything you can think of, like any kind of tips or strategies that you use or for your clients to kind of overcome that?
I do. I always say, okay, you know you're gonna have party Saturday and Sunday. You want to let loose. Go really low carb Thursday and Friday. And if you do it Friday and Saturday, then do it. You want to have at least 2 days where you cut carbs completely. Like, but if you're cutting carbs, obviously you would up to your fat because your body gets energy from fat and carbs, and it's always better to do fat, proteins and fats, right? We should never ever mix all of it together anyway, and have a fine balance in it. But on the days that you know you're going to party, I would say 2 days before, really low carbs, if not at all, any at all.
Okay, I like that idea. Haven't really heard that one before, but I like that. And you said after the weekend you do low carb as well too. So like
Yeah. So
following
like
Monday,
I have
Tuesday.
a Tuesday. I don't even worry about my carb intake on Saturdays and Sundays. I have
Hmm.
whatever I like. I still eat every 3 hours, so I still stay with my routine. And then on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I go super low. I sometimes do a prolonged fasting as well, which is more beneficial to us mature women and men because we are have to deal with HGH levels, change of hormones, and we have to trick our body a little bit more because everything testosterone, even though it goes lower, and when you do prolonged fasting, you're actually jump starting all that again.
And you said you eat every 3 hours. So to me, that's kind of like a bodybuilding style work diet plan.
Mhm.
Why do you still eat that way even though you're not competing now?
So scientifically, they have proven that after 2.5 hours, your insulin levels drop. When your insulin levels drop, that means your metabolism adjusts. Your body only knows to survive. It doesn't know anything that we're going to the gym. It doesn't know. It just knows I need to survive. My heart needs to pump. I need to renew these cells. So when we eat and feed the body every 2.5, every 3 hours, the body never ever wants to drop the insulin levels. It always stays balanced. When it drops, you feel like, oh, I need some sugar right now. I want to eat
Hmm.
something. That's when your insulin level drops. You need to eat some high proteins because the body always wants proteins for nourishment. It doesn't really want carbs, unless it's brain food. We need a little bit of sugar. We need simple sugars, but I think people have gotten so used to going for bread or a cookie or whatever that it's not good for feeding the muscles. It just swells the muscles and bloats you, but it doesn't really feed them. So I eat every 3 hours just to keep my insulin levels right and my metabolism burning. Like I'm like a burning furnace. I burn, burn, burn. And I'm talking about small meals. When I talk
Hmm.
about a meal, it's like you have a square little Tupperware and you fit proteins, vegetables, and then carbs in. And you always want to eat your vegetables first because they oxidate first. So you don't get that bloatiness. So eat the vegetables, then the proteins, and then the carbs last. If you're still hungry, I always eat the carbs last. Fill
Yeah.
yourself up with proteins and fats.
So with those meals, do you eat any snacks, or do you consider those kind of like a snack?
Yeah. So I call it meal one, meal two, meal three, meal four. I don't
Mhm.
call it breakfast, lunch, dinner because there's a certain size connected to that.
Mhm.
And I try to keep everything the same. But if I do a snack, I know my BMR. I know how many calories I need to burn, and I also need to know how many calories I need to take in for my body to look the way I want it to look, to how lean I want to be. And so usually my breakfasts or my meals are around 400 calories, 400
Okay.
to 500. When I competed and I had to build muscle, I had to eat a lot more because
Mhm.
I still wanted to grow. But now I'm at the size that I like, and but it took me 10 years to get to that size. So it wasn't like overnight. Oh, here I am. I'm big. It doesn't happen like that. It takes 1 year to put 1 inch of muscle on you.
Yeah, I know it takes a long time. It's not easy. So you mentioned you do a little bit of fasting as well. So what do you like intermittent fasting? What kind of style of fasting do you like to do?
I used to do so. I started off with intermittent fasting first, and I loved it. Um, and intermittent fasting for me meant that I eat in an 8 hour window, and I have learned that not everybody's the same. So you have to figure out: are you a breakfast person and you rather stop eating early in the afternoon, or are you more somebody that likes to eat? What is your lifestyle really tells you?
Mhm.
Like if I have to eat with the family at 7 o'clock, I make sure that I don't eat my first meal until 11 o'clock. So I have that intermittent
Mhm.
fasting, period. But I didn't do that when I was bodybuilding.
Mhm.
When I bodybuild, I didn't do intermittent fasting. I only started doing that once I got to the size that I wanted and I had enough that it worked in my favor. And also, I believe intermittent fasting for me really worked the best the older I got. Or I had, if you had some if your body inflames easy, if you have an autoimmune problem, it all depends. But for myself, I'm speaking of myself, I did, when I competed, I did 5 to 6 meals a day. Now, then went into intermittent fasting, which worked really, really well for me. And I still do that for the most part. But I've learned that I need my breakfast. I do the
Mhm.
30, 30, 30. So I wake up on 30 minutes of awakening, I do a 30-minute workout, and I do 30 grams of protein, and that
I
worked
like that.
really, really well for me. And then on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, once a month, I do a prolonged fasting, which means I only do hydration on Fridays. So water, teas, I put hydration sticks in it with all my minerals, my nutrients. And then on the 48 hours, after 24 hours to 48 hours, I do bone broth, and then on the after 72 hours I break my fast, and then I go into low carb meals, and I do that for 1 to 2 days, and then I go back to my normal. And usually what that happens is my body's HGH levels go up. It renews my cell, it turns over, regenerates my cells, it takes all the broken, we all have broken cells in our body, right? Broken protein cells, and the body can't get rid of it if you constantly have food in us. So it just stores it somewhere, right? And so for me to get rid of it, I have to go into a fasting state. So the body has to use those, get rid of them, and then renews it. And it's phenomenal how you'll become insulin sensitive, HGH level go up, and I lose about 5 to 7 pounds on it usually. I've done it with my sister, and she had lost 9 pounds. It's really good for people that had a lot of surgeries or had to take a lot of medication to cleanse out their body.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of things recently about the prolonged wrong fast, where you literally are just doing the hydration, just the water. And my the chiropractor that I see, he's very big into fasting, and this is what
Hmm.
one of the things he preaches a lot. And I haven't tried it myself personally yet because I'm training for an ultra marathon right now, so I'm
Oh,
eating a
you
lot of
need your
food.
card.
Yeah, I'm eating a lot right now, but I've already
Yeah.
decided after the race, once everything kind of calms down, I do want to try it and just to see how it affects my body and what it does to me, because I've never done a real long, like a prolonged fast like you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do it right now. With marathon
No.
running, you lose a lot of muscle anyway. Anytime we do
Yeah.
cardio, we lose muscle. People don't realize, especially if you do high
Mhm.
intensity muscle running, like long distance running, you start burning a lot of muscle.
Yeah, about at the end of 2023, I did an Ironman. I did Ironman Florida, and I lost probably 20 pounds when I trained for that.
Hmm.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And then when I did my bodybuilding show, I also lost about 20 pounds. But I put it back on by the time I did my bodybuilding show. So yeah, my body weight fluctuates a lot depending on what I'm training for. So
Yeah. People always
this,
ask me, should I do first? Training with weights or train with do cardio? I would say weights.
oh yeah, I would say weights too for sure.
Always, because that's your longevity.
Oh
Muscle
yeah.
atrophy happens to us all. We can't stop it, but we can slow it down. And when we do cardio, we burn muscle. We don't just burn fat. And a lot of times when I see people going to do their cardio, they do it, if they don't do it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach and they go in the afternoon, well, it takes 20 minutes for your body to get into fat burn, because it has to get rid of the glycose and the storage of your sugars before it even gets into fat burn. So you might as well just use weights to build the muscle first and then go into fat burn.
Yeah, I kind of cut out my weight training when I was doing my Ironman training, and that was one thing I promised I would never do again because I lost a lot of size during that time. So now I'm still
Mhm.
I'm weight training only 3 days a week now, which I normally do 5 or 6. But now that I'm running so much, I've dialed it back to 3. So I'm still still weight training while I'm doing a lot of running too. And I've actually kept a lot of sizes. Like I haven't lost much weight at all since I've been starting a lot of my running. So I've seen some good progress with doing that.
That's yeah. Sounds like you have a good program going.
Yeah, it's after sports after so I did sports all the way through college, and then that's when I really started taking my fitness serious when I got home from college. And then after I worked out, put on a lot of size, I got bored. So I got bored of it. So I was like, I need to do something to challenge myself. So I signed up for the Ironman. I did the Ironman, and then now I kind of made it a thing where every year I'm gonna do one big challenge. So I did a bodybuilding. I mean, I did the Ironman show, Ironman, and then I did a bodybuilding show last year, and then this year I'm doing the 100-mile ultra marathon. So it
That's
it keep
awesome.
it keeps me motivated because I'm changing up my routine, changing up my training, so I'm not just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it gets a little boring after a while. So that's why I like to switch it up.
And that's a good point right there. People need to set goals. I think when you set a goal, and when I used to compete, and why I still do after the competing, I used to do a lot of fitness photo shoots and collaborations, is because it just kept me sharp, it kept me in the game. And then now I use it for TV because do a lot of TV stuff. I don't know if you've seen The Righteous Gemstones, and I'm on the new season 4. And there's certain aspects of it that it was a very physical role. And because of everything that I had done, is why I could do what you're going to see in it.
Yeah, I was about to say something. I just went blank, and that's gonna bother me. I don't. I was finna say something, but now I don't remember.
But goal setting is everything. I think it's really important.
That's what it was. The goals.
Yeah.
When I was growing up with sports, I didn't really need a goal because my goal was to get better at sports. So that was always my goal.
So
But
it was
then
a goal, yeah.
yeah, it was a goal. I just didn't realize it. I didn't set it
Mhm.
out like I didn't say like this is my goal.
Yeah.
It was just to get better at that sport. But now, like after I quit doing sports and I didn't have a goal, it kind of got repetitive and boring and less motivated. So that's why when I set that goal of doing the Ironman, it kicked me back into gear. I got super motivated again. I was killing my workouts. Like it got me going and it held me to like that goal. And
And did you
it
have a partner that you could accountability partner that you said, okay, that you had to show up for?
Yeah, so I found a guy in my local area that also trained for Ironman. So we did a lot of our training together. So that
Mhm.
helped that helped a lot, especially when you're doing some very long endurance exercises or workouts. That helped a lot. And me and him still train today. Even that's like 2 years ago. So we still train together today for he's actually training for another Ironman. So it helps a lot when you have somebody to do it with.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's to have somebody that's accountable. That's why a lot of people hire trainers, right? It's for
Hmm.
us to be that for them to be accountable to somebody, and help them to guide them to do what they need to do and then to get to their goal. And if you can't afford a personal trainer, find a friend or somebody that has the same goal as you to show up for. Because you'll disappoint yourself more than you will disappoint somebody else.
Yeah, I like that's why I like to put a lot of myself out there publicly because I know if I put it out there publicly that holds me accountable and because I don't want everybody to see me fail, so it's gonna hold me accountable to myself. So that's why like on my podcast I talk a lot about my own goals and what I'm training for, just because I want people to know like or I want myself to know that it's out there, so I don't let them down. So I follow
Yeah,
through, and that helps
no,
hold
that's
me
great.
accountable as well.
Yeah.
So what type of training is kind of like your specialty, would you say? What kind of training do you like to do and what do you do for your clients?
So I don't do more than 30-minute workouts, weight training. And I have figured out how to do upper and lower body. So I do a lot of circuit stuff,
Mm,
a lot of plyometrics involved in it, but because I believe jumping is really important for the human body. So like little jumps, like little squat jumps, jumping jacks, jumping lunges, side shuffles, things like that. Athletic stuff are really good because you have never seen an athlete that does athletics like plyometrics with bad legs or bad abs. So that in
mm,
itself is already a benefit and it strengthens your joints. So I usually do a plyometrics, then we do some squats with and then maybe a smaller muscle group. So I always take one big muscle group, a smaller muscle group, and then core and glutes is involved. And I do. four rounds of it, and I do three different routines in 30 minutes. So in 10 minutes, you can literally do legs, shoulders, glutes, and abs, 4 rounds. And then you're going to do another set where you're doing triceps, in and outer thighs, abs, and glutes. And then another one you can do chest, because it all works together, and the obliques and um, calves. You can all do that in 30 minutes. So I believe, because time is money, you can do it really fast. Now, I don't babysit people and do their cardio. I tell them, I don't pay me to sit next to you and do your cardio with you, but I do all the weight training with people.
Yeah, I like the 30-minute workouts, and I think that'd be very attractive to a lot of people because like if you say, oh, we can get a whole workout in 30 minutes, that's going to be attractive to a lot of people because people they get intimidated by the gym or having to go work out. So I think that'd be more attractive to people. I know with
Yeah.
my wife. My wife likes to train like that as well. She does kind of the same style of training that she likes.
And
Do you
I
do?
do even 10 minutes. I'll offer on my website, you're going to find 10-minute workouts, because a lot of
Mm,
times people say, I don't have the time. And they cancel on themselves because they say, I can't put in an hour. But everybody has 10 minutes. You can totally put 10 minutes in. I can stand here right now and do 10 minutes. I posted a thing on my social media also about doing a workout while you're waiting for the microwave to be done. You In 1 minute, I can do
yeah,
20 squats, 10 push-ups, and vacuum rotations, all in 1 minute while I'm waiting for something to warm up.
yeah. I like. You ever heard of the podcast Mind Pump?
I have not, no.
Well, they preach a lot about kind of like what you're talking about, how you do it more often. You don't necessarily do your workouts for a long period of time, but you do them more often throughout the day, and you can get just as good of results doing it that way. So they kind of preach kind of the same thing. Like they,
Yes.
in one of their programs that they offer, they have it's like 2 15-minute workouts. Like you do one in the morning and one in the afternoon, 15 minutes, and that's one of their like best selling programs that they have. So it's kind of the same idea that you're talking about.
Yes, a time. I
Hmm.
mean, the excuse of not working out. And then for me, I deal with a lot of people with injuries. That's my
Hmm.
specialty. I get a lot of people with rotator issues, lower back issues, L3, L4, L5, neck issues, knee problems, hips replacements. And they come to me and I help them to maneuver and show them what exercises they can do to improve their stability, flexibility, and strength, and still lose weight. And a lot of them are older. That's why my programs are very geared to 40 and up to 75. I mean, I even have gentleman that's 95 that he fell,
Hmm.
and they called me and said, hey, we need to help him to find more balance, and now he does side shuffles and push-ups and all of that, and he's 95. So don't ever think it's too late to start. It's never ever too late. And like I said, don't look at the big picture. We talked about this already. 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, 7 days a week is 70 minutes a week. That's a lot.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it adds up to be a lot for sure.
Yeah. And then you just fix one meal. The main meal I always say people need to fix is their dinners,
You
what
mean
they eat before they go to bed.
you mean fix it by cooking it yourself, or fix it like meal prepping it?
Look at it and see if it's nutritious. Look at it and see, what is it? Is it pizza that you're putting in your mouth before you go to bed, or is it chicken and vegetables, or fish and a salad? That's because we always say, well, it's a calorie, it's food, and I said, no, the calorie is not a calorie, right? There's an empty
Hmm.
calories and there's good calories for your body, and don't put empty calories in your stomach right before you go to bed. You can get away with much more at lunch than you can get away with it for dinners.
Yeah, because you want your body to be able to
Burn it
focus on.
off.
Yeah, you want to be able to sleep while you're sleeping, not digesting all your food.
Yeah.
I'm bad about doing that. I'll eat dinner and then go right to sleep, which I know is not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But I try to space it out earlier. Well, my wife used to get off work really late, so I didn't really have a choice. But now she got a new job, so we eat dinner earlier now, which is it's a good thing now. We eat a lot
But you
earlier.
also work out 5 days a week. I'm talking about people, if they only do 5 minutes to 10 minutes a day and then they eat the pizza at night, you can never chase a bad diet,
Yeah.
period. I don't care how much you do. I mean, unless you're like in your 20s and you're outdoors and you're doing 3 hours a day, well, yeah, but everything, catches up on you.
Yeah, you definitely can't out train a bad diet. I say that a lot too. That's one of my go tos. Because I used to, I was the hard gainer. Like I could never gain weight, and I used to always think like I could out train a bad diet. But then once I quit playing sports and stuff, it all caught up to me. And then I realized, hey, that's not going to work anymore. I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm not running around all day like I used to be. So let's see. I lost my spot. Recovery. What do you? What's kind of your recovery protocol? I know you said you work a lot with clients that have injuries and things
Mhm.
like that. Is there any kind of like recovery methods out there that you? I know there are a lot of things we see nowadays with all the biohackers. We see a lot of ice baths. We see a lot of red light therapy. Then you also have y'all. You always have your traditional like stretching, icing, things like that. Do you have anything that you do personally?
I believe in all of it in balance. I don't believe you should do an ice bath every day. I don't believe you should do red light therapy every day. I believe that the body needs a balance. So I do all of those once a week, maybe. Like I
Mm,
do hyperbaric. I've done a hyperbaric too, but a cryo chamber and the red light therapy. I have done the hyperbaric chambers, which I think are amazing, which is where you're going down 49 feet deep in a chamber and you have oxygen mask on, and the
mm,
body gets all that oxygen pumped to it. I've seen great results from that. And I usually do that 2 to 3 times a year because it helps the cell repair to speed up and to be more nourished. I do endomologies once a week, which is it helps me to keep my skin nice and tight. And especially for women, we tend to hold more water because women have an extra layer of fat that men don't have. And for them to not have as much water retention, endomology has been very good for me.
I'm not familiar with that one, but
Yeah, it's a machine that really you put a suit on, kind of really thin layer suit, and it takes your skin and it sucks it and moves it, and it's almost like a fascia
like,
release,
like a
because our
massage.
skin, yeah,
Mhm,
like a massage. And I get a massage all the time. I mean, I get deep tissue massages because when we lift weights, and I tell people all the time, yeah, everything gets tight, but we have to, especially our shoulders. We get a lot of knots. I mean, we're on the phone constantly.
mhm,
So the knots in the neck and the lower back, hips, especially if you're squatting, running, all the hip flexors get tight. So I definitely get a deep tissue massage once or twice a month just to release all the pressures. And then I have done a wasabi method as well, which was amazing because for a while my hip flexors wouldn't relax anymore because I was just still training, and I love training, and it's probably where I should take some more time off. But it's for me, training is also helps with anxiety, helps me to clear my mind. It just gives me
mhm.
my good feeling, my good mood. It's just when people go to alcohol, I go to a workout. And then the wasabi method is something that it comes from Europe, Germany, and they used it actually to move kidney stones out of the back. And they have found out when they did the kidney stone removal that it was improving people's backs. And now, when you have issues in your knee or in your hips, you can do a wasabi method and you can go in there and it releases all the stress. Because as with the deep tissue massage, it can only go so deep. And the wasabi just goes all the way down to the bone. They have also used it for when you break a bone and the bone needs to heal faster. They do the wasabi method around it, and it creates so much more cell repair,
That's
bone
interesting.
repair. Hmm.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned you use your workouts as kind of like a stress reliever and things like that. I'm the same exact way. I operate the same way. And people, I don't know when I say this to people, people don't understand it. They don't get it because they think working out is like torture. Well, For me, it's I think it's the same thing. Like I think of it the same way you do. It's something I enjoy doing. Like it's like a hobby of mine. Like I like to do it. It's fun. I always like to say it's something that I get to do. It's not something that I have to do. And then
Hmm.
when you kind of change that mindset, it helps a lot. And I don't know people that are not into fitness, they don't understand it, but I know a lot people in the fitness industry, they get it. So
Yeah.
that's I, I'm the same way. Like if I don't work out, if I have a workout scheduled for that day and I don't do it, I feel off. Like something's off. It's kind of like
Yes.
we were
Same
talking about
here.
routines. Like we were
Same.
talking about our routines. If we don't follow that routine, you don't check the box, then it's you feel out of whack. You know,
Well, and your
you feel weird.
endorphins go up when you work out. You just feel
Hmm.
that sweat. You're getting toxic, detoxifying your liver. You're detoxifying your whole cells, and then you get all that HGH, all the endorphins going. Your testosterone goes up. You just feel great. It just feels like, how can you not want to work out?
Hmm. I always say I've never left the gym mad or upset before ever.
Yes.
You may go in the gym mad or you may go in the gym upset, but when you leave, like all that's gone. Like you're not gonna be mad. There's never been a time I walked out of the gym and said, "Man, I really wish I wouldn't have went to the gym today." Like I've never done that. I never said that before.
Yeah, same here. And I don't know anybody that ever said that. They said,
Mm-mm.
"Hey, I have never even the people that hate to go to the gym. Once they left it, they were proud of themselves. They
Mhm.
felt good. So why not get that good feeling all the time?"
Exactly. I feel
And
like it's you kind of have to get over that hump. There's kind of like a period when you first start and that it's kind of hard. It's kind of sucks. You're gonna be sore. Like it's not very fun. But once you kind of get over that hump, you're like, okay, I get it now. Like it starts to make sense. It starts to click, and then you got to kind of push through to get to that point before you actually start enjoying it. And I think kind of
And we
takes a
all
while.
been there, yeah. I mean, I remember when I
Mhm.
first started working out. I mean, for us as athletes, for me it was running sprints, and I loved it. I loved to be outside, and I loved it in school when English or whatever was German was canceled, and we had to go and do sports. I was like, yeah, I could no academics, and we can do sports. I'm there. But going to the gym was really foreign to me. And when I started, it was very intimidating. It was all these guys, and here I
Mhm.
am, this girl saying, "Oh, let me, jump in." And I loved it, and now it's everywhere.
Oh yeah. So I kind of grew up very skinny, very small dude, and I started working out for sports, obviously, but as soon as I started putting on a little size, a little muscle, and I started seeing my body change, I got hooked immediately. I was hooked from day one, and I never looked back. I've stuck to it ever since then, and I enjoy it. So,
Yeah, that first transformation is like
hmm
amazing to have that power. And I get a lot of people
hmm
that come to me and they say, I'm stuck. I've tried everything. I don't know what to do. And a lot of times people jump in and they don't know their body enough to know how to balance it. And
hmm
I have had people that do 3 hours of workouts a day and starve their body. And I'm like, well, your body's stressing completely out. It's thinking you're killing it, basically, and it's just holding on to dear life. Let's find that balance and relax it. And all of a sudden they drop 15 pounds, because the body has now like, oh, okay, you're feeding me and we're working out. So you found my balance. Or people want to do, like you said, they leave the gym so sore that they don't want to come back. But the first 2 weeks, even I don't care who you are, you're going to be sore.
hmm
It's just gonna, I always say, have an Advil ready, or, you're gonna be sore. It's gonna hurt.
yeah, most people tend to start out too hard. They go too hard too fast. They try to go
Yeah.
all in, and that's sometimes that can hurt you. It's like you said, start with 5 minutes. I always say you just need to do more than what you were doing before. So like if you wasn't working out at all, 0 days, there's no reason you should be going to the gym 5 days a week starting out. Like no reason. That's not
No
gonna do
reason.
you any
Yeah.
good. Like
I
literally
always
just start with 1 or 2 days a week and then work your way up from
Totally.
there.
Go for a walk like you have said it on your
Yeah.
podcast before. Go for a walk and then lift weights 2 times a week and just ease into it, but stay regularly. The key
Hmm.
is to stay regular and to do it. If you walk every day for 10 minutes and do 2 weight training 2 times a week and take 1 day off, but really if you're the beginning, I mean, if you just walk and you really don't need to take a day off. It's not that hard.
Hmm.
And see what results you already get. Because people always say, "So do I have to do an hour cardio now?" I'm like, "Why? If you get results after 10 minutes and your body's doing what you want it to do, why do you need to do more? Now, if you then get to a point where after 10 minutes and you have gotten to the results and you want more results, then you might have to up it and change it and up it and up it. But I'm a strong believer that nobody should have to do more than an hour in the gym. If you're doing more than an hour in the gym, you need to take a look at your nutrition.
Or you're just in there wasting time.
Right. You're just chit chatting away.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that one. I'm guilty of that one.
It's a
But
social setting. Yeah. Just be
yeah,
honest. It's like, why you're really there.
yeah, I find myself in there too long. So I'm like, all right, I gotta get serious so I can go. I can leave. Luckily, I do it in the morning before I go to work, so I don't necessarily have like a lot of time I can waste. So I got to get in and get out as
Yeah.
quickly as I can. So that
And
helps a lot.
may I make an announcement, please, or a request? I said, here is, please, when you go on a machine and you have 3 sets to do, don't take 2 minutes, 3 minutes to check your phone in between sets. It takes a minute recovery. You don't need to be on the machine for 5 minutes recovery and then do another set. You're holding up the machines, and it's not nice to everybody else. And if somebody does a set, don't walk in front of them in the mirror. It's just old school. People always like they step in front of you and they doing their thing, and you're like, dude, I'm in my focus here. I'm working out. Can you just be polite and walk around me?
Yeah, I have some fitness pet peeves for sure, but we'll save those for another day.
Not a podcast a title, yeah.
So I like to talk about fitness myths. So is there any myth out there that's a newer one that's come out recently that you kind of disagree with or you may agree with? Any fitness uh, myths that you can debunk? I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head.
Any fitness myths?
I know a big thing right now is the Ozempic right now. I know that's a big hot topic right now.
Yeah.
Um, but
GPL-1 peptides. Yeah.
mhm,
Well, here's the thing about it. If it helps you to lose weight and it helps you to be disciplined, great. But don't kid yourself. You still have to eat well on it. So that
mhm,
means you still have to eat your proteins. What I see a lot is that people are using that and then still drinking alcohol, still eating unhealthy, and they're just not changing their lifestyle. Because once you go off it and you don't change your lifestyle, guess what's going to happen? Now you're going to spiral and you're going to gain all that weight back and some. And that's called
mhm,
the yo-yo diet. And we should never yo-yo diet because you're messing with your metabolism. So when you get off something, any diet, even in bodybuilding, I see it with fitness competitors too that are on drugs to get to a certain point. And then they get off it and then they just blow up because they eat everything inside. You was like, what did you compete in? Because they didn't live that lifestyle. So if you live a lifestyle of healthy, I think it's great to have that because there are people that have a hard time losing weight. And I think it's excellent for them. It's a peptide. It's not that harmful as people say, but it is harmful if you're not nourishing your body properly. That means you have to take in the proteins. And how much protein is that? You need at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight that you want to weigh, period. And that's how much muscle you have to protein you have to feed the muscle. And if you want to grow, you need 1.5 grams of protein to grow the muscle. And if you're not doing that, so a lot of my clients, that's the first thing I say: how much protein are you eating? And I have a client who wants to go on it as well, and I'm all for it if that helps him to lose that last 10 pounds because he's not as disciplined or he has a hard time. He's doing his shakes now, and I'm really proud of him, and he's lost 15 pounds, but he just wants a little kickstart. I said yes, but he now has a routine. He eats his protein. He knows how much protein he needs. And if you don't do that, I think it's going to be really bad for your body.
mhm. Yeah, it definitely has its pros and cons, and I'm not really. I'm kind of in the middle. Like I'm on the line because like I feel
Hmm.
like I think it can be great for some people. I really do. I think it can help a lot of people. But then again, I feel like some people they just want to use it as a cheat code. Like they want to use it to take the shortcut. They want to just they don't want to put the work in. They don't want to do it. They just want to take the shortcut,
They don't
and
wanna
then they
do the
want to use it.
cardio.
Exactly, and so that's why I think it's like I
Yeah,
think it's good and bad at the
yeah.
same time. So I'm kind of on the fence. I think it
But
can
the
be good
shortcuts
for.
have been there for forever. I mean, if you look
Mm,
bodybuilders, the girls or the guys. I mean, I competed. I didn't do any drugs, like
mm,
zero. And I went on stage, and I always held a little bit of water right under my glutes. And I found out later on that these girls were all taking drugs to get to that smooth look underneath their butt, and I felt cheated.
mhm.
But they needed that help to get to that point. And I was like, well, nobody told me about it. And here I'm like, how the hell do they do that? What's your trick? Is it the water? Is it the granola you eat in the morning? There's a whole cycle of how we get stage ready. And so I'm like, yes, it a cheat? It is a support. Just like when we have a headache, we take a painkiller. Is it a cheat to not feel the pain? Yes, it is. So I think it's all in the as long as you do all the rest, yes. But don't be a skinny fat.
Yeah, now that it's a big topic, I feel like a lot more research will come out with it. So then I think that'll help a lot of people make a better decision on whether to take it or to not take it. So
I
I think
agree.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to be a really good thing overall in the grand scheme of things. I think it'll be good for not just the fitness industry, but for everybody in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you should be on it for a very long time. I don't think that's good for you.
No, I don't. You shouldn't depend on it. It should be kind of like you said. Use it
Yes.
kind of kickstart your fitness journey and get you going. Maybe even get you to a healthy level, and then kind of come off of it at that point.
Yeah.
So what does a typical day look like for you now? Now that you're not competing, you're training. So what does that what does that look like?
My day starts at 5 in the morning. I usually have my first client at 6 in the morning. I usually do a little bit of yoga in the morning, a little waking and stretching, meditation. I read. I have an immunity booster. I do some hot water with lemon in it to reset my system, and then I wait an hour to have my first cup of coffee because it's so acidic. I take and then I usually go, I have around 13 people right now a day. And unless I'm filming, when I'm like, I was in Charleston filming for 2 months and was a little bit different. But on average, when I'm not filming, I usually get my workouts in around noon. Like either between 10 and 12 o'clock is when I get my workouts in, sometimes in the afternoon. And I either go to my gym that I have here or I go to another gym. And I do my weights first always, and then I do cardio after. And I go till probably 7 o'clock at night, and then I eat, my proteins. I always have one shake a day because I can't for my digestion, and I love shakes now. I use the Arbonne shakes. I've had other shakes and they just didn't do it for me. And and I've never been a shake person. So those are the only ones that I found that really work for me. And I make sure that I have 30 grams of protein in there. And what else? Um, I do a lot of beet juice in my after my workouts because of the recovery. It's just phenomenal. If you haven't looked up beet juice, look it up. It's amazing for recovery, cell repair, anti-inflammatory, and so on. And Thursdays, I always get an endomology treatment, and then on the weekends, I like to go hiking. I go on a hike.
I love hiking too. Unfortunately, we don't have good hiking where I live, but when I go on vacation, that's typically what we do. We'll go somewhere and go hiking. I like that a lot. So
I
do you
always
have
say, if you don't want to go to the gym, just go outside. Do something, do something that
mhm,
makes you move. Yeah.
get some sunlight and get some fresh air?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you working on any specific fitness goals right now? I know you mentioned you're doing a lot of filming. Is there any like roles you're training for? Any good big goals coming up?
Um, I'm always training for a role.
Mhm,
A specific role. I do a lot of my stunts myself, so I always try to stay core fit. I do a lot of
mhm,
functional strength training right now, and I figured out how to balance. I'm in full on blast of menopause right now, So I'm 51 and I'm in full blast. So I just figured out, okay, what works for me. I do a lot of sprints at the beach. Like I do 30-second sprints and then 2-minute walks or lunges and stuff like that because it helps me to mobilize fat storage better. And so my cardio is more like an interval cardio instead of a steady cardio.
All right, I got one more question for you, and then I'll let you go. So, if you could give one piece of fitness advice to everybody listening today, what would that be? I know it's a hard question. It's hard to
The
dial it
one
down to
number one thing
one.
that comes to mind is just take action. Just do
Mm,
it. I know we hear it all the time. It's just you have to schedule yourself. Like we're scheduling us to go to work. You're scheduling yourself to do the dinner or to go into the grocery store and all of that. You have to schedule yourself and stick to your schedule. That's the only way you're going to succeed in your fitness journey is you have to schedule yourself and
yeah,
make time for yourself. Because if you make time for everybody else and not yourself, you're going to get angry.
yeah. I always say you, you will make time for the things you truly care about, the things that you want to do. And I think sometimes a lot of people will put other people before themselves. Like you said, you gotta take care of yourself. Though I know sometimes you don't have a choice. Like if you have kids, like you gotta put your kids first. Sometimes I get that, I understand that. But if you can't show up there for yourself, eventually you're not gonna be able to show up for your kids. Eventually,
Yeah.
so you gotta take care. And I like how you said schedule it, because we schedule everything. You go to work, it's scheduled. You have a meeting at work, it's scheduled at a certain time. You probably eat lunch at the same time every day. Like everything's scheduled. So I like how you said that because I kind of do the same thing. It's my workout is scheduled in my day every single day. Like right before I go to work, I work out at the gym and I go straight to work from there. So it's scheduled in there, and that's how I can stick to it. And I think if you don't schedule it, you'll kind of be like, oh, it's all right, I'll do it tomorrow, and then you just end up not doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and it's not just for people that come from a day job, like 8 to 5 job, and come from work and then here. It's a lot of people that are traveling too. You got to schedule yourself,
Hmm.
and find a hotel that you're staying at that has a gym, and then schedule yourself. If you most likely a lot of times people can do an hour or something like that, or half an hour, and just do 10 minutes like we talked about. But you got to schedule yourself. That's the number one thing that I see, and do not cancel on yourself. Don't ever cancel on
Hmm.
yourself.
Yeah, the consistency definitely builds up over time. It builds that discipline, and then you'll get to the point to where you don't want to miss that workout because it feels normal. It's part of your routine. It's a habit.
Yeah, it's for you. It's your longevity. I mean, it's
Hmm.
like if you tell somebody that you're not going to work, they're going to tell you you're not going to get paid. Well, if you're not doing it for your body's going to say, well, then I'm not going to function for you.
Exactly. I like that. Well, I think that's about all the questions I had for you. Do you have any questions for me or anything you want to say to anybody yet? Are you promoting anything at the moment? Telling them where they
Um,
can find you.
well, if you want to find out more about me, go on my partyanddiet.com or on my Instagram. I have a lot of videos on there of what you can do at home, what you can do in your kitchen when you're vacuuming, when you're doing things like that, to just make it easy and fun. And right now, my programs are only $14.95. Check them out, see how you like them. There is no year contract or anything like that. And I have a free ebook that is free. So check it out on mypartyanddiet.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining the podcast. I enjoyed our talk today. I learned a lot. I always like to get to bounce ideas off of other people's heads and kind of see how they go about doing things. So I
Yeah,
enjoyed it and
feeling
had fun.
mutual.
Thank you so much. You have a great day and keep doing your thing.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.